Just put that.
Always have a big something.
Always have a big pipeline.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let me get this up. Hang on a second. Time management. All right, guys. So 25 mistakes salespeople make. And, you know, Eric, you made a good comment on the break there when you came up to me and you said that, you know, you've actually had some live bullets come at you with objections since our last month's training. Would you mind sharing with the group how it wasn't perfect, but you're making slow progress? Could you mind sharing that?
Not at all. With the, I forgot the exercise that we did last year. It's
The 7 steps of objections, remember?
Okay, and then, so I try to implement that in the last couple of demos, presentations that I've had, and I've been able to get better at it every time. But, you know, listening, going through the 7 steps about, you know, listening to the objection, feeding it back, finding, you know, not fencing with them, you know, I went through all that. Halfway through it, I got better at it. I went farther down the 7 at every presentation. Started off strong, writing, you know, took out my notepad, took down all the negatives or things that they wanted to talk about, and fed it back to them, got to the real down one. Like about to the closing part, I think that's when I started, that was one of the other things that I just went over on the 25 mistakes is the closing, getting better at closing.
Right.
But that was my experience.
So think about this. Those 2 presentations you did, okay, if you would have closed them both, how big is sales do you think they'd be? 15,000 each? 10,000 each?
Probably about 10 each.
Okay, so $20,000, and at $20,000, are you guys making about 20% commissions? Is that about what it is right now? Give or take?
Average.
15.
Average.
20.
Okay, so let's just say 15% on the low end.
$4,000.
What?
$4,000.
$4,000. If you would have studied for 2 hours, just all you did was pull out the notes and studied those things and made $2,000 an hour. I know it sounds crazy,
No,
but a lot of times we don't take the time to study this like we should study it. But what is, like when you monetize it, it kind of says, oh, remember we talked about big rocks. Look at this again. What are our big rocks? Are your big rocks 1 hour a week to pull out your notes and study this stuff so that you can be more efficient the other 39 hours a week or 49 hours a week? I think so. I know that's why Kevin's making the investment in doing this training and why he's doing ongoing training, not just a one-time speak at national meeting, ongoing every month, because I believe you guys are starting to see, I'm repeating some of the stuff I said last month, but I think each time I say it, it's, oh yeah, and then repetitive ongoing training is what sticks with people, okay? So if you have to go back and watch the videos, Cameron's got them all on there. You can go back and look at every single video if you want to, of all the trainings before, the closing, the objections, now this one, the 25 mistakes. And it's just say, I'm gonna block off an hour, even though I already know it, but I'm gonna block off an hour a week to study. What could it mean to you financially? Money doesn't buy happiness, but money gives you choices. So a big part of growing sometimes is does anybody here want to work harder? Anybody want to work harder? Smarter. What does he want to work smarter, right? So you reach a point with fundraising, you only know so much in fundraising. Okay, we only got the same person. It was funny, guys. When I came in January and did the first training again, and I was in the little training lab there, and I looked at all the brochures. No joke. It doesn't look that much different than it did 8 years ago when I was there. It's better brochures a little bit, but it's pretty much the same thing. Prize posts are pretty much the same thing. There's not much that's changed. You're going to reach a point, Brian, am I right? You're going to reach a point you pretty much know how to fundraise. Okay? Where are you going to grow? You're going to grow with your technical selling skills, with your planning skills, with your how to sell more effectively. And the big part's time management. So we're going to dig into time management now. How do we use our time? So I'm not wanting to have anybody here work harder. Well, if you do need to work harder, then you're probably not doing very well. But most people need to work smarter. So we're going to go through this, and I want to start off with time is our most valuable asset. And today we're going to look at increasing time management skills, prioritizing tasks, eliminating unnecessary activities, and manage your personal and professional time. How do you balance between with work and home time and fun time and things that you want to do besides work? So we have this concept, it's called the schedule slinky. The schedule slinky. And here's how it works, and follow along with me. An event occurs, you get off track, and your schedule suffers. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, that happens. Okay. Once you get behind, you become consumed with catching up, and your thoughts scatter.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, that's not true? Okay. As your thoughts become scattered, you lose focus. It becomes easy to get overwhelmed, and your attitude falters. Okay. As your attitude starts to fall apart, your production slows. Finally, because over time you've had great results, and now you don't, your self-esteem starts to go down a little bit. Yeah, you can still put on a happy face at a meeting. Yeah, everything's good, but inside you go, I'm not really where I want to be. Okay? So, the solution is to refocus yourself and put your self-esteem into your work habits, and not your production. A schedule's being where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and doing the little things right. Doesn't have anything to do with producing or not. That's how come I've talked about so much today activity. This morning, I mean, not this morning, but when we first started this, I said activity breeds results. I said, how many contacts a day? 12 contacts if you can do it. Activity breeds results. Now, you'll get out there and you're going to say, it's physically impossible to do 12. I can't do 12. I'm going to explode. It's going to be like, I'm going to explode. No, you won't. Okay? But really what you'll start to see, the activity is what gets you out of slumps. To get back on track, you change your activity. So here's how the positive slinky works. First, convince yourself that as long as you're on schedule, so I make a schedule the night before, here's what I'm going to do today, here's my checklist, here's what I'm going to do at 6:30, here's what I'm going to do at 7:30, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to read, I'm going to study, I'm going to have my first appointment on prospecting time, remember the big rocks in here? I'm going to make sure I do my rocks. As long as I stick to my schedule, I'm doing a good job, immediately you gain confidence and your self-esteem increases. Even if you're not getting results. Now you're feeling better and purely focused on doing what you would be doing and should be doing, and it's what you said you would do, and now you're getting back on schedule. Once you get back in the right places at the right time, it becomes easier to perform and your thoughts refocus. Now that you have control of your previous wandering thoughts, your attitude improves, and because you have a great attitude, the numbers game takes effect, and often the next thing to happen is your production increases. Does that make sense? So the way to get out of a slump, write this down, is to get back on schedule. The way to get out of a slump or not feeling well is get yourself a schedule. Get yourself a schedule with scheduled activity. The way to get so powerful is to have everything done the night before. Your car loaded, what you're going to wear, who you're going to see, your map done, your in your daytime or your Outlook, all the people that you want to see, and then the names of the people in between you want to see because you prepped the night before. You follow a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to do what? Fail. Okay. So this is all about getting our activity better, and we're going to do kind of a list of things, just like we did with 25 points to avoid. We're going to list things here. You're going to pick 3, 4, 5 things out. They're going to be growth areas for you in time management. And Chris, what might be different for you might be different for Melissa. Okay. And Linda might have something different than Eric has. Okay. And you guys will all have different things here, but everybody, no matter what company I go into, guys, and I go to different companies every day, every single one, I give them a list of what are areas you want to work with your team. And some say closing, and some say objections, some say referrals, some say qualifying. Every one of them says time management. Every company, they want to get better with their time management skills. Okay? Because everyone wants to work less and make more. That's what everybody's goal is. Okay? So here we go. Number 1, I talked about this earlier today. When you do your list of things that you're doing, put a little A next to your big rocks, your things that are absolute must-dos. So what are must-dos in this business? What are must-dos in this business? Prospecting. So a big rock of prospecting, even though it doesn't say who you're prospecting yet, it's just blocked off in your calendar, prospecting time. That's an A priority, so that little A next to it. You know what most people at Great American have? I guarantee you, because they are not really going through this. Guess prospecting, I know I'm supposed to do it, but it's a B or C priority. Should be an A priority. What's the other A priority? Kickoffs. B priority is a self-start. A pre-start. Ordering prizes. Thank you notes. Okay. C's. God bless you. C's could be, I need to clean my office. You know what some people do though? They can't work until their office is clean, so they've always got to straighten, and they're doing C's before they should do A's. So you guys have to determine in your life what are your A priorities, and you want to mark your A's and your B's, and then try to get your A's and B's done by 2 o'clock. So what would be your A's in your business? What would be your B's in your business? What would be your C's in your business? Okay, again, schedule prospecting time. Schedule it on your calendar. So like today's Friday, it'd be interesting to see all your calendars for next week. Most people have their starts on there. Well, you don't have that many starts at this point. Maybe you have your demos, your appointments that you have. How many of you have actually blocked off 10 to 1 prospecting time? You should block that off. So nothing, and then guard it with your life. Okay? Because where you spend your time is what you'll get. Think. No interruptions during this time. We try to schedule at least 4 hours a day. That's a goal. 4 hours if you can. Minimum of uninterrupted prospecting time. All research should be scheduled. It's about momentum. Time awareness. Monitor and analyze your time usage. So this is something that I actually did when I was training at Great America the last couple of years before I left. And I had people, and I did it myself, I had people, and I believe it's the last page. If you go to the last page of your packet, I think it is. It is. It's called a time awareness log. Okay, this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can zoom in on this, John. And what a time awareness log is for 21 days. I'm challenging you guys to do this twice a year. Okay, so I'm challenging you to leave today, and maybe Monday you start. And you just make like 10, 15, 20 copies of this. You'll probably need 20 copies, 21 copies of this, because it takes 21 days to form a habit. And from the time you get up in the morning, no joke, this goes with you for 21 days. And you write down what time you get up, how long did it take you to get ready, where did you piddle around, like doing stupid little things, okay? Write it all down. By the way, when you have to write it down, you won't piddle around in some areas now. Okay, you'll start to get better about how you're using your time. All right, it's kind of like when you're trying to lose weight. If you have to write down what you're eating, you sometimes won't eat the bad stuff. All right, so you should write down everything you're doing on here, and it's okay if it's not good. But you're going to start after you start analyzing it, you're going to start seeing areas where you're wasting time, where you're not doing things. I would be willing to do a private coaching session with anybody in the company. You guys here too. When you get your 21 days done, make photocopies, send them to me, and I figure I've done this many, many times. I will give you like a doctor's prescription of what I see, because sometimes there's a thing that says you don't know what you don't know. Okay, and you've been doing it that way for years. That's just what you do. All right. Someone else looks at it and goes, no, right here you're wasting time. All right, and so. If you don't inspect, what? Don't expect. So if you really want your time management to be better, then you got to start writing down what you're doing. I don't know, that's a lot of work here, right? Well, do you want to make $20,000 more next year? Do you want to be in a higher position? How bad do you want your goal? So we always share this stuff in training, and some people will go to the extreme to get their goal. A big part about it is it's easier to change your time management than it is to change your skill set. Does that make sense? It's easier to work harder, work more efficiently than it is to become a better closer. So time awareness log, it's big. And write everything down. From the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Even going to the bathroom, eating, everything. And you may not want to share this with other people, just a few select people, but you'll start to see habits. Creative thinking time. Set aside time for creative thinking. Do it while in the car, between meetings, or schedule 5 to 10 minutes a day to just think through how you are going to be successful that day. Think innovatively, think positively, and see yourself succeeding. Plan for delays. This is a big thing that people don't do. While planning your day, allow for interruptions and curveballs. So what if you had a half hour a day? Well, it's a smaller rock, but it's built in there for miscellaneous to deal with problems. So sometimes, have you guys ever called somebody before and that you can tell they're so business savvy? It says, "Hi, this is Joe. You've reached my voicemail." I return all phone calls between 11 and 12 and between 5 and 6 in the evening. If you need to meet me for emergency, please, have you ever heard messages like that they're really on task and they really return calls during 2 times during the day? Have you guys ever called something like that before? Okay, that's called not being a slave to your phone. You know what most people do? Someone calls with a problem, you deal with it right there. Okay? Well, over the course of the year, you're losing several minutes. What if you plan for times like that? Believe me, if it's an emergency, they'll text you, they'll blow your phone up, they'll leave a message. You can listen to the message, and you can choose, do they need to be called back that moment, or can I call them back at my planned time that I'm going to deal with stuff? Doesn't seem like a big deal right now, but day after day, putting bad habit upon bad habit, month after month, does it add up? It does. It adds up big time. All right. Brief calls. This is another one for some people. When they get on the phone, they like talking on the phone. They just talk for too long. So be brief on incoming calls. So if somebody calls you and it wasn't a planned out call, you need to be brief on those. Be polite, tactful, and helpful, but brief. Socializing is not selling. Socializing paves the way to do business. It does not introduce business. Get to the point as quickly as possible. Now, if you're calling them and you're trying to set an appointment or you're trying to prospect for business, it's a little bit okay to talk longer. But if they're calling you, like especially if it's one of your clients, you can say, you know what, I wanted to pick up the phone because you're an important client to me. Let's get to this really quick. I'm in the middle of something right now, but I do want to let you know you're important. And you move quickly. You move quickly. Do it right the first time. I'm going to give you guys an example here. Take the time to do things right the first time because it always takes more time if you have to go back and do it the second time. Get your close down perfect so you don't blow it in a workshop or an appointment. So, in our company, for example, when a new person comes on board, they have to do their close because we go out and do workshops. We go out and do kickoffs, basically, in companies, and we're selling. So there might be a person standing here, and we're doing an hour worth of training, and at the end of the hour's worth of training, we're trying to sell a ticket to our conference. Or we're trying to sell coaching, all right? And the most important part about that is being able to close. Being able to close. And close, you have to have down word for word. It's how you say it, how you interact with people, how you nod your head, how you point your fingers. Everything is important because they're making a $3,000 decision if they're in coaching. And if they're going to if they're going to the event, if the whole team goes and there's 7 of you, that's a $2,800 sale. And they don't make any money if they don't close anybody that day. It's a big deal that their close is good. They don't leave the headquarters. They don't leave sales school until they've done their close and practiced it and done it in front of the team. And then the team goes right on, okay, you got your close down. Why do you think that's important?
So if you can't close the sales, you're not going to have any sales.
Get it right the first time. So that's a perfect example with objections. You're starting to see like, God, what if I really do practice this even more? What if I go back and I really pulled out the objections thing from last time and I really took the certain, then went back and looked at the closing one, because there's the closing one that we did before that. And I really took it at heart to learn those 20 closes. And I really took it at heart to learn the answers to every single objection I may get. And gosh, in the course of a year, I might be doing 100 presentations. I might be in front of 100 different decision makers. What would 20 more of them saying yes mean to my income for just spending maybe 10 hours extra studying? So do it right the first time is a big deal. And I always say, and Rory, my business partner, talks about this. He says the pain of discipline is easier than the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is easier than the pain of regret. So it's, for some reason, for salespeople, it's hard to go back and study. It's not like you're taking a real estate exam where you're going to get graded on this. It's not like Kevin Hawley said, if you guys don't know this stuff, I'm going to charge you $100. Okay, he's paying for this. Okay, however, what if you were charged $500 if you had to take a quiz at the end? How many people would study it a little bit more? You probably would, okay? So just something to kind of think about. Say no. If you're always feeling busy and overwhelmed, say no to one person every week and start to notice how some of the time is freed up. Don't try to please everyone all the time. You usually end up pleasing nobody. Here's another one that's helpful for some of you guys. Keep your paper handling to a minimum. So when you get a piece of paper do you guys still get the green envelopes or little envelopes? No more paper?
Well, no, we get envelopes, but they're not like they used to be.
They're not?
There's like maybe 1 or 2 things in there.
Okay, all right.
It's all online.
Okay, all online, okay. So, but still, you get stuff. You get stuff online, And what do you do with it? You put everything in a save box, or what do you do? So this really works well. When you get a piece of paper, either you get a file, because you can print them out and put them in files, or you can make files on your computer. It either goes into the do file, the defer to a later time file, the delegate to somebody else file, like an assistant, the throw it away file, then you just throw it away, and don't know. And then what I try to do is once a month, go back to the don't know, or sometimes even on weekends or something, and I try to move them out of the don't know file. Know your stats. This is another big one. So your statistics, dials to contacts, contacts to leads, qualified leads to appointments, appointments to workshops or kickoffs, workshops to run, workshops to referrals, referrals to appointments. They're all in there. Why do you think you should know your ratios?
See how productive you are.
Know what it takes.
Know what it takes to grow. Okay. So like if I knew that it took me 6 dials to set one appointment, and I know that 1 out of every 2 appointments I close,
12.
then I need to do 12 dials. Okay. But I go, I really need to pick up 10 contracts this week. I'm behind. Now I can know how many dials I have to do. So knowing what your ratios are is huge. Car University. Some of you guys need to mark this one. Car University, there's 3 things to do in your car. One is get books on tape. There's stores now you can go to all around the country. You can get books on CDs. You also can download to your iPod, okay, all sorts of books on CDs, so when you're driving you can hear. 2 is what I call my phone list. And phone list is, I'm making a list of 10 names. You guys might want to write this down. I'll take it on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And the first 6 will be people I want to prospect on, and they're going to be the company's name or the school, in your guys' case, the school's name, and the phone number of the teacher's name. And it's just 6. So if you're driving 15 minutes or half hour, however you're driving, you're going to have 6 a day that you're going to actually be dialing while you're going. It needs to be big writing so you can see it. You don't get in an accident. And you have to have, I paid the money and I have a little speakerphone in my car now so I don't have to hold the phone. But I'm going to do 6 outbound dials every day while I'm driving. Number 7 and 8 are follow-up and service calls. So every day I'm looking for people that I've worked with in the past, even if it's been a while. I'm going to do, hey, I'm just thinking about you. I just wanted to call you. I know it's been, our fundraiser's been over for 2 months, but how things going? If you have 2 people a day you're going to call, that's 10 people a week. Past clients that you maybe have not taken the time in the past just to call them to see how they're doing, but now you're going to do 2 of those a day. And then number 9 and 10 are family and friends. And sometimes we don't talk to them that much, okay? We get so busy in our lives. And my goal, I want to get through at least 8. If I can get to family and friends, I do. And sometimes if you're driving an hour, you can get through your list pretty quick. And then you treat yourself. You listen. Number 3 is music. I listen to sports talk on KMBR a lot of times. I listen to ball games because it lets my mind relax. But there's 3 things to do in the car. The car is Car University. I like listening to talk shows, business talk shows if I can find them. And the reason is you hear topics on business talk shows that are relevant, and it gives you something to talk about with teachers. And you can, another good thing you could do is, has anybody watched David Letterman or Jimmy Kimmel or Jay Leno? Do you guys ever watch the talk? You should write down, no joke, when you watch that at night, write down what the topics they're talking about and the funnies they made. Why? It's great table talk when you're talking to somebody the next day. Gives you something to talk about. God, did you hear Let On last night, man? It was so funny. And you can get out of just fundraising, but get into like personal talking with people. That's a big deal. Testimonials. We already talked about this. Again, a champion's letter binder with all of your champion letters in there. Momentum. Be in the office getting organized. This is a big one. 30 minutes before everybody else. So for a lot of people, what this means is 30 minutes prior than you've been doing it. So if you say time management is going to be a good thing, I usually get in the office by 7 in the morning. I get going. I'm going to try to get in by 6:30. Okay. If I normally get in by 7:30, I'm going to try to get in by 7. I normally get to the schools by 7:30. I want to get there by 7. Trying to get there 30 minutes early gives you time to remember, look in the mirror, make sure you're organized. Gives you time. If you haven't invested in an iPad yet, guys, get an iPad that you can go anywhere with, so you can be internet no matter where you are. It's so easy, it's so cool to look up, Google real quick, look stuff up, and have it at your fingertips no matter where you are, be internet connected. It's very, very powerful. I like to leave messages, 5 to 10 messages before 8 o'clock in the morning for teachers or for in this case clients that I want to reach. If every day you're dropping 5 to 10 messages, like I know on my phone I got 2 messages here because this morning I dropped 10 messages to the East Coast before 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's kind of cool. I've been training. I haven't had time to listen to them yet, but it'll be cool when I'm driving home to know that I got a couple messages back from some of the people I left messages for this morning before 8 in the morning. If every day you're leaving 8 to 10 messages early in the morning for people, eventually some of them are going to call you back, which is cool. Be a role model. How do you spend your time in the office? It's contagious and affects others. Now, you guys all work by yourself, I know that, but what kind of role model are you for your own peers? Like when you guys have conference calls, do you guys have regional calls and things like that sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay. Do the rest of the region look at you as, man, they're progressive, man. They're always offering to do things, or they're always giving feedback, or they're writing emails to the rest of the group of good news. Are you a role model to the rest of your group, or like you're just a taker? I always say be a giver. Write that down. Be a giver, not a taker. What are you doing to give to your peers in the region? What are you throwing out there to be a giver? Hard to reach prospects. Calling difficult to reach accounts between 7:30 and 8 a.m. in the morning. Lunchtime, because it's usually a different secretary answering the phone. So if you guys have a hard time getting to your decision makers, someone's usually replaces the normal secretary at lunch. So that's a good time to call. In the morning is a good time to call. And you know what? Sometimes if you call in the late afternoon, the secretary's gone home after 4, but you can reach a principal, they'll pick up the phone. Or you zero number, or they have a directory. And so hard to catch prospects, call later in the day. Planning. Plan the next day, the night before. There's so many studies. How many of you guys, by the way, there's 7 of you, do you guys plan the night before, or do you plan in the morning? Who plans the night before?
Sometime.
Okay.
Depends what time I have to be out of the house.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys right now, every single person should plan the night before. There's so many studies on it. You sleep better in case things happen the next day. But like even if you have to stop at 4:30 and spend a half hour from 4:30 to 5 to get your next day set up, there's so much that everything's done, and you can have a clear mind at night to have it set up the night before. So you may not do that, but there's just so many studies over and over and over that people that plan the night before do better. Okay. Virtual assistants. How many of you guys have an assistant? One of you, okay. So when I was 21 years old, I first started at Great American. There were 22 people in our sales school. Dewey Lackey was our trainer way back then. This is when the company was the old company, not in the building it's in right now. It was out in Franklin, Tennessee. I was the youngest guy. Everybody was looking at him like he'll never do well. My dad always said, if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant earning an assistant's pay. 21 years old, I already paid for a telemarketer to help me out a little bit, 10 hours a week to write some notes for me. I didn't even know what I was going to have this girl do for me. I got an assistant when I first started. Why? Because we do too often as salespeople, we do the $5 and $10 an hour jobs when we want to make $100 and $200 an hour. And we're afraid to pull the trigger and let somebody else do some things for us and make calls for us and do things for us. And we shouldn't be. Because guess what? If they're not working out, you fire them. Let them go. Okay? But we're afraid to even take the chance. We're afraid to even take the step and bring somebody on board. So I'm going to highly suggest that assistants are good. Assistants are great. Get people to help you build your business. Team stands for together, everyone achieves more. There's no I in team. When you're trying to do it all by yourself, you'll never get as much as you can get. Standard operating procedures. Create standard operating procedures for your business. So what's normal for you? Balance. Having focus diverted across too many things wastes time. Balance is not equal time across equal priorities. It's appropriate time across critical priorities. Don't try to be all things to all people. Do it to all activities, or try to do everything. Figure out what things are most important to you in balance in life in that direction. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to go through your time management stuff right now. And I want you this time to pick 3 things that are going to be growth areas for you in time management. Got it, Melissa?
I do.
It was pretty clear for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So what are your 3?
Okay. The first one is activity gets you out of slumps. The second one is your ABCs. And third is schedule prospecting time on your calendar.
Yeah, rocks.
rocks.
And everything becomes visual, like, because we get all caught up. So just remember this is like a jar. A rock for you is prospecting time. Okay. Who's Chris? I mean, Mike?
Yeah, I think the creative thinking, 5 to 10 minutes for me on that. Drive time part of university. I listen to books on cities. It's usually murder mystery, not a business deal. So I gotta shift a little bit there.
Okay, but that could be after you do.
Yeah, right.
Because remember, I treat
Right.
myself to sports talk and music.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But I think being proactive in that, and then 30 minutes, just it's sporadic. I do it and I don't do it, and I do it and I don't do it. But I think just really focusing on making sure there's 30 minutes in the office before everything is set to get going. I think I need to be there.
Sure. Linda?
Monitor and analyze my time usage. Big thing for me is saying no.
You say yes to everything?
No, I just volunteer at my kids' school and still active PTA and Little League board.
Yeah.
You say yes to everything.
Not to everything, but learning to say no more often to put my business ahead of the.
Yeah.
I need to do more of yes to the things that pay my bills.
Yeah.
But that's the giver.
Sure.
It goes back to
I hear you.
giving and taking.
Think about this, either and rather than either or. Okay, so how can you still do both but be efficient in both?
And planning my day before.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I just have so many night meetings and come home to 4 kids that it's hard to sit down and plan.
Then 4:30, 5 o'clock, if you can, you budget it in. Even if it has to be your break at 2 or 3 in the, I've had people that
It
3
might have
o'clock,
to be the middle of the day.
they 3 o'clock in the afternoon, no joke, near the end of the day, they'll stop and get a soda and a cup of coffee real quick, and they'll give themselves, that's their time, and that's my wind down. I still got maybe a late appointment, but I'm gonna get the next day set up. So when I go home to the kids and I got my meetings, I already feel relaxed that my next day is set up. That's cool. Okay. Chris?
ABC to-do list.
Yeah.
And making sure I prioritize, and also scheduling prospecting on the calendar every day, having like a block,
Yeah.
and then doing things right the first time. Going back, study a lot.
Yeah, if you don't do it right the first time, you got to go back and do it again. It's like, oh, Ron.
First one is all the years I've been in the business, I never have created these champion letters. And I think if you should have that in your portfolio,
Yeah.
for one. And then plan the next day, the night before. I usually plan the day when I get up and get my thoughts together. I have an assistant, but I think I can utilize her in better ways.
Yeah. One of the best ways to utilize them in better ways is you say to them, what do we need to be doing different than we're doing right now? You're in this every day with me. Ask them what they know. The assistants know. And if they don't know, they're not the right assistant. Brian?
Get back on schedule.
What do you mean?
So just like you said, if activity breeds results, if you're a little bit off track, a little bit of a slump or something, just get back on schedule, get back focusing on the activity.
Yeah.
And the results will come. Schedule prospecting time, like there's been saying, and 10 phone calls in the car every day. Having a list of people to call.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do something. I'm gonna stand up in this last part because I'm gonna really want to share this with you guys with energy, and I want you guys to leave here with some techniques and tools and strategic tips to not be stressed anymore. Would that be cool? Okay. So just grab a blank sheet of paper again, the back of something, and this is something that I just wrote. No joke. I wrote it on the plane Friday coming back from New Jersey, and I'd appreciate your guys' feedback on it. And I did it with the group on Monday, and they said that was good. Because we all stress. We all have stresses in our lives. And if we could avoid the stresses, it's a good thing. So I call it the 13 power tips to eliminate stress. Or stress busters, I call it. Like Ghostbusters, stress busters. Okay. Number one is get rid of endless to-do lists. And focus on what's really important. And we talked about that today. Planning your day before and making, what are the rocks? What are the rocks in your life? If you focus on the rocks, guess what's going to happen? Other stuff's going to kind of fall in place. Okay? Because you're going to start being successful. The essential question is not how busy you are, but what you're busy at, is a quote that Oprah says often. Okay? It says the essential question is not how busy you are, but what are you busy at? Number 2, stress buster, is don't prioritize your schedule, but schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule, but schedule your priorities. Schedule your family time, your health time, your fitness time, your friend time, your work time. Inside your work time needs to be your prospecting and business development time. All of these get calendared before other to-do items. All of these are your rocks. Rocks, pebbles, sand, water. Be healthy is such a huge part of eliminating stress. This is still part of this because it's the health time. Brian Tracy talks about the 5 P's to great health. You might want to write this down. These are the 5 P's to great health. Proper exercise, proper diet, proper weight, proper sleep, and proper attitude. So far these first 2 are kind of right in line with what we talked about today, the rocks, the priorities, and I think when you guys leave here today, it's really going to make an impression on you that what are my rocks? When I drive home, what are my most important rocks? And am I really living my life to spending my time in those rocks? Sometimes it's in here, but it's not really with what you're doing. Okay. Number 3, reduce stress by needing and wanting less. Reduce stress by needing and wanting less. Are things we acquire in our life really adding value or just adding clutter to our surroundings and lives? When we attach value to too many things that are not love, like the car, money, the house, the prestige, we're moving loving things that can't love us back. Loving and being loved brings joy and happiness, which is the opposite of stress. So the question I want you to write on your paper, what is enough for me? What is enough for me? And then also write on your paper, what parts of my life need to be simplified? What parts of my life need to be simplified? Number 4, take time to regularly vision the future so you can peacefully come up with a plan to get there. Once you have the plan, review it regularly. The more you review it, the more it will naturally become part of you. And that goes back to affirmations. So how often do you actually sit down, quiet time, and vision what you really want? Map it out, plan it, figure it out, focus on it, draw it out, make a game plan. A lot of people don't block off time like once a month or once a week to just plan out and vision and look at all, this could happen, that could happen. Blank sheet of paper, canvas. Number 5. This is hard for some of us. Leave your past behind you because there's nothing you can do to change it. You might have gone through everything in your life, bad stuff. Can't change it. You have to let it go. It can educate you to make wiser decisions in the future, but spending any time stressing, worrying about it is unnecessary. Carrying the past forward will only provide us with incremental changes in our lives. People that choose to aim for massive breakthroughs in their life do it by letting go of ties to the past and starting with a fresh sheet of paper on an empty canvas before the painting. What in your past are you holding on to? What in your past? How is it holding you back? What conversations either in your head or with someone need to happen to clear the path for an amazing future? So for some people, they're holding on to stuff. That's what's causing you stress. You're still subconsciously, well, maybe there's somebody you need to apologize to. It's just uncomfortable, but man, I just need to clear. Do you know that when you apologize to somebody, you gain out of that? You let that go. It's not a burden on your back anymore. They might be mad at you. Yeah, why'd you do that to me? I don't know, I'm sorry. I'm honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's apologizing to somebody from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And relieve stress. Number 6, constantly tell yourself that you have a choice. We talked about that today. Constantly tell yourself that you have a choice. So when you're stressed, say, I have a choice. I don't have to be doing this job right now, but I'm choosing to do this. That subconsciously will tell you that I don't need to be stressed about this. I'm choosing to do this job. I don't have to have stress. This is cool. You have a choice to be stressed and a choice to be happy and peaceful. When you stop having a choice, you're the victim. Ask yourself often, what are my choices here? What are my choices here? Taking the time to do that slows you down, which causes less stress. Going through this exercise can often reduce stress because it gives you a chance to control your own destiny. We choose how we react, what we think about, and what we become, as well as choosing how we want other people to perceive us. Choose to confront challenges head on, as well as choose who you spend time with, as they will be your support system to lead you. So a lot of times stress caused by the people you choose to hang out with, they're not the right people. I know it's hard if they're significant others or family, but sometimes you do have choices about who you hang out with. And can people in your life cause you stress?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right. 7. Take complete accountability and responsibility for your actions. That's a big one. Everything that happens to you, take complete accountability for it and responsibility for it. And you will feel a huge load lifted off your shoulders. You know, Mom, I messed up, man. Or I'm just making that up, but I own it. I take full accountability. I should have done that. I'm sorry. Now, if every day you're apologizing and taking that's a whole different story, okay? But when you do that, it's a huge lift off your shoulder. So this is a quote. It's pretty cool. Excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. Excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. Number 8, remind yourself that you attract what you put out there to this universe. Remind yourself that you attract. So if you're stressed and you're being stressed, your actions is being stressed, you're going to bring more of that to you. Stress will be present in your life. So stress, write this down, is do, have, be. That's stress. I gotta I gotta do all these things so I can have money and have food and on the table and have vacations and have my name on the top of the list so I could be successful and be happy. That's stress. So stress is do, have, be. I want you guys to write this down. Happiness is be, do, have. Be right. Be outwardly focused. Be loving. Be compassionate. Be not stressed. Be relaxed. If you're being right, okay, it'll cause you to do the right thing and you'll have everything you want. Do you guys understand the difference? If we're all doers all the time, gotta do, is that attractive? No, it's not attractive, all right? Number 9, simply said, spend more time outside. Go outside. Scientists have discovered that human beings not only crave, but have an innate need to be outside. The outdoors has a natural healing effect on us and serves as a natural stress reliever. There are several studies out there of people that had windows in hospital rooms healed quicker than those with inside rooms. There are several studies out there that people who have offices on the outside of offices, of buildings, they actually are more productive than people that sit in inside cubicles. People that take breaks, 5-minute breaks every 1 to 2 hours and go outside, okay, do better than people that don't. So sometimes we stay inside too much. All right, 10, be confident, not fearful or iffy. I often say confidence is attractive or sexy and that fear is unattractive or ugly. The simple process of preparation is the key here. Choose to prepare yourself to win. Number 11, have a purpose rather than being a wandering generality. Have a purpose rather than being a wandering generality. What's your purpose in your business? What's your purpose in your business? My best year is the year I did $1 million. My purpose was to honor my stepfather and honor my mother when my stepdad passed away. I was so focused, so driven to hit $1 million that year. My purpose was so strong that I had my best year. The stronger your purpose is, the better you're going to do. The stronger your why is, the better you're going to do. The stronger your purpose is, the less stress you have because you're going for that purpose. So a lot of times people have stress because they don't have a purpose. It's just, I got to make money. And you remember the goddess syndrome? I goddess syndrome is not too attractive. Okay? I want to make money so my family can take wonderful vacations and so we can have choices, we can live in a nice place so that we're comfortable so we don't stress. Does that make sense? Okay. 2 more. Slow down to speed up. Too many salespeople never slow down. Too many salespeople never even take a deep breath. I want you guys to do me a favor in this room. So right now I want you to breathe in with your nose and take a deep breath in. With your nose. You get more air with your nose. And slowly blow it out. Take another deep breath in with your nose. And one more time, slowly deep breath in with your nose. Tell me how you guys feel now. How many people feel a little more relaxed? I heard somebody say I felt high. You know, when air and oxygen gets to your head, it's like it's a refresher, it's a rejuvenator. And sometimes we don't even take the time to take a deep breath because we're going so fast. Because we want to do well, because we want to prove to people, or we want to be respected or whatever. But slow down to speed up. And then number 13, this is the last one, is add humor and laughter into your day every day. Throw some statistics. There's so many statistics out there about children that laugh every 6 minutes on the average, like young children. And there's adults that don't laugh but every 6 days. Okay, and it's crazy. Like, we should laugh. I mean, I was watching when you guys did the human pretzel, and every one of you guys was smiling and laughing, and that's healthy when you do that. So when you're stressed out, go watch a comedy. When you're stressed out, get a couple books or something like that you can read that are funny. On Sirius Radio and XM Radio, they got comics that are constantly on there. So I want to say thank you guys for that we did a lot today. We did how to start your day and end your day. We did finish strong, so whatever finish strong means to you. And then we played the best offense is a good defense and talked about 25 things that you can try to avoid. But don't avoid them so much that like you're attracting them, but be aware of the areas where you need to get better. And then we did time management and talked about some time management things. And last week we talked about how not to be so stressed. So here's what I'm suggesting to people. It's Friday afternoon. And what's going to happen is you're going to go home, you're going to get back to your family life, and it's the weekend. And woo, it's weekend. We throw everything. So either when you get home, I'm going to suggest you look at all the notes. It takes probably 20 minutes to do this. It doesn't take long. And take the best of the best today and put it on one piece of paper. Okay? Of things that you know you need to start doing right away. Best of the best, one piece of paper. If not today, put on your calendar for Sunday night. Go through notes from Friday's training with Gary and do it Sunday night and put them on the piece of paper. And what you typically want to do in these trainings, and we're doing them every month, is ideally at the end of the year, instead of having a bunch of packets, we'll have 6 or 7 pieces of paper of the like Cliff Notes. Do you guys remember Cliff Notes in college? The best of the best, because it's physically impossible to like all this stuff. I know you guys can't know all of it, but the stuff that was important to you, that you think is going to help you grow your business, if you can review that often, okay, then you'll grow. Like the 7 steps to objections, that should be, go back and like highlight that and put that on the best of the best. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, so you can put on your calendar, the next training. For those of you guys that are watching it around the country, the next training is here it's on May 10th, Friday, May 10th. And this was supposed to be 1 week earlier, but there was a conflict in times. And so we put it 1 week back, so it seems like it's 3 weeks out, but then there won't be another month after that. So it's Friday, May 10th. And you guys have a great weekend. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.